is what I'm saying. So to kind of go back into what you're talking about, J.R. Smith was saying that we don't have these conversations enough to talk about healthy spending habits, but also helping those around you. He was like, if you're making $102,000 a year, in a season, whatever, what's $2,000 to you to give to someone else, to help them out? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so I thought it was just, for me, I think it's a retrofitting of like how we have to be more attached to our community. And similar as you're talking about with Mr. Beast and how he gives back.
You can put them fingers down, but all right.
But he gives back with the intention of attention. How do you feel that athletes should, what do you feel about athletes giving back? Do you feel like they need to do it more? You feel like they could contribute a lot more or help the community a lot more, make it better?
Hey, I just know some people, when they make money, they give the money away. But these athletes now, it's pretty hypocritical now. We talk about now, just like, hey, Mr. Beach, just do Tropic Thunder, turn black, it'd be cool. I would say with the athletes, once again, it's tough. And how you're talking about it is like the athletes are now part of the Hunger Games. One athlete once a month would be like, I volunteer for tribute. What town needs money? And like, I've always had this crop back theory of like, if every NBA player just took maybe like 0.05 of their salary and donated in their community, we would see sustainable change. And like, I don't know, because like it goes back to the conversation of like, should you publicize what you're doing or like things of that manner, where it's kind of like, I know we just crucified Mr. Beast for doing that, but that's what athletes do. I'm coming back to, or like, shout out to Terrence Jones. I'm coming back to SEI and I'm bringing Dwight Howard. Like, should he just show up with Dwight Howard and just do the basketball camp? No, I'm trying to let people know that I'm coming back to my city. I'm coming back to invest. So it's kind of like, that's where I'm at. But we got,
the back troll? Is that what I was?
Jesus.
Yeah, the back troll. You mentioned the players. What about the owners? I'm just saying that if we're focusing on the players, think if the owners gave that percentage into their communities.
He said, "Hey, he's Mr. Athlete Killer."
I'm not an athlete killer.
I just want to point out that the players themselves, that's chump change to the owners. So think about that. That's their play thing, is these professional teams. So think if the owners would to do it.
Wait. What about
Rob doing it?
No.
We're on to something.
Stay. What if, instead of they were doing this in-season tournament, whoever won the in-season tournament
donated to the city, their city?
Their city.
The NBA does?
Yeah. The NBA donates to the winning city. It makes every game more college-like. Dame, you better win for Cream City. Or, that sounds like an idea.
That makes those fans hostile, probably, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want to be a Sacramento Kings fan and go into a Laker stadium or a Blazer stadium and knowing that I might get jumped or killed. I'd be wearing whatever team I'm going to go visit and watch. I'm going to be wearing their gear just so I don't get shot.
But that's how we get the ratings up in the NBA.
But I low-key, I like that because, one, the NBA is donating that money to them, right? The NBA gives back already.
Yes.
But I feel that, like, adding something new like this playing tournament gives the community a sense to stand now for the tournament. It gives fans a reason to go to the game because they can feel like they're a part of the tournament as well. Because if you're playing for the Hawks and I live in Atlanta and we need to make such and such a better part, hey, yo, let's get it done. Let's get it done so we can get this taken care of. And I think it not only puts the fun in it for the fans, but also I think it gives the NBA players something else to play for.
What makes college sports fun?
March Madness, baby. But nothing happens with March Madness.
Fundraising madness.
I mean, it's a good idea, but it might kill arena tickets a little bit.
How?
Arena sales, depending on how much you sell, or like how much you're like selling a ticket for. You're not going to have the away team player, like they're not going to be buying their tickets, so it may or may not kill tickets depending on the prices that they sell with them, or the price that they have it at.
If you're winning for my city, you don't think I'm gonna go travel to help you win?
You think you're gonna go into a hostile environment?
Absolutely.
Repping that gear, I would not.
Man, you're a Raiders fan. You like to fight.
I am not a Raiders fan. Thank you.
What fights you been in?
How many fights have I been in? 2.
What's your record?
2-0.
Dang. What? How'd you do it?
Fact Dragon here. He hasn't fought me.
Oh.
It's coming up.
All right.
I win.
MMA debut, huh?
I get your sentiment. I see what you're saying. Where it's kind of like, and I think this is more of like a black people town hall type of a conversation where we have to come together to talk about how we move the hood. I think moving the hood comes from like a Mr. Beast mentality.
Oh, here we go.
No, serious.
This nigga.
No, I'm serious.
I hear you.
Where it's kind of like, I think, respectfully and allegedly, that at the end of Malcolm's and Martin's life, they were like, we both need each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, both philosophies were needed. And my thing is, when it comes to what people are talking about, is like, just as much as we need people on the front lines, we need people on the back ends. We're like, all right, who's feeding the people who are protesting? All right, I'm in the business. I understand that, and how our government system works. Corporations are people. All right, I get a seat at the table more than these people. Where like we have to be applying pressure from both sides. So my thing is, I think when it comes to like what JR was saying, it's kind of like, I wouldn't feel right telling that man to be like, all right, you got to take care of this. Or like it has to be more a community thing where it's kind of like if he can apply his pressure, because like that takes care of his donations and tax write-offs off the rip. If he's like, all right, I'll do 10 G's at this location and this is something I'm just going to focus on. And it takes the pressure off of so many people to feel like this savior. Mm-hmm. Where it's kind of like, it is what makes a community go is we all have jobs. If we look at the olden times, and I know how it was, where it's kind of like, if you were the doctor, you were the town doctor, and that's what you did. And if town doctor was sick, then and like everyone had a role and a job. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't do your role or job, it didn't make the town function. So it's kind of like we're all working in these silos. So I see what you're saying.
And one thing he brought up, it just popped in my head as he was talking about that. He was talking about how like the NBA players that are from LA, he's talking about Kawhi and Westbrook and Harden and Paul George. He was like, if y'all all put in 10,000 apiece, he's like, y'all could, or 100,000 apiece, y'all could build a rec center in the community for the people in LA. And he was like, instead of having to go practice at UCLA, he's like, y'all can do this. He was like talking about like just responsibility. And so, shout out to J.R. Smith and his transition and what he's doing now. And
he's in college now?
He graduated.
Dang.
And went and played golf. Like,
he good.
So like, and even his whole transition. So, shout out to him. Definitely was an interesting podcast to listen to, or interviewed it, listen to. Yeah, what we talking about next? What's up?
Today's not gonna be that long of an episode, but